Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving into the story of a true trendsetter, Carl Smitty Smith. Coming out of Houston's Clark neighborhood, he found it cooler to rep South Park. Smitty was on a promising path in high school, excelling at football. Unlike many of the people we talk about who started hustling in the trap, Smitty's hustle began with chopping cars. Even before the crack era, as a youngster, he was all about fixing and customizing bikes, kind of like what Jody and his crew were doing in Baby Boy. Think about it for a second. Remember those kids known for stealing bikes? What kind of people did they grow up to be? Smitty, though, wasn't just any kid. He was vicious, seriously skilled, with that screwdriver. He was putting in real work, stripping cars, and breaking them down like he was performing surgery. If he spotted rims on your car that he thought would look better on his ride, best believe you were losing those rims. No question about it. The beginning. He started to be known for his fly whips, wiring cars like a pro. Parking lot pimping was a real thing back then. Pulling up to spots, not even going in, just playing the let out. Just having a whole crowd in the parking lot, showing off your fly whip, that was the thing. His name started ringing out on both the North and Southside. Smitty, for sure, had an attitude problem. He would go off. Man. Like, he'd take his car to the shop, and they'd tell him he could drop it off and it'd take a couple of days to get done. But Smitty would come back in a couple of hours just to check on it. And boy, if he saw his ride not being worked on, he'd snap. That's just how he was, man. He'd snap on you real fast, and a lot of people feared him. Now, when he started getting his hands on some hard and soft, he kept the S of it until one day he woke up believing that the rules didn't apply to him. You'll know what comes with the game, right? Just dealing with different prices, clientele, who's got the best product, cooking it up, and figuring out if it was good work or just boo-boo. But you know what they say, right? If you get bad work, you either charge it to the game or charge it to a lame. See, I read a post about him, and it said he was known for being slick and outsmarting people to get what he wanted. Worded like that, they were being very careful and respectful. But this is members only, so I'm just going to tell you how it is. That boy was running off on people, man. For real. He was out here finessing and knocking off fake moves like it was nothing. Bricks were moving fast, and Smitty was coming back with bankrolls. His prices were so low that it seemed too good to be true. But people weren't even scared to cop because the deals were irresistible. He backdoored a lot of genuine men, and mutual friends often tried to mediate and work things out. But honestly, I hope they weren't holding their breath because Smitty wasn't coming off anything, no matter what. Business with him was always shady. He couldn't fly straight. What really sold people on him was his image. The cars, the jewelry, he had it all. Rolling through in a Benz that looked like a spaceship with Ferrari kits or a Rolls-Royce, he automatically jumped into ball of status. You'd think he was good money, right? He talked that big Willy talk. Smitty would sell a whole bird, but only half of it would be legit. He'd burn people, and most were too scared to confront him. He was feared. Some people even let him hold money or product, but when it came time to pay, he'd act like the deal never happened. If someone approached him, he'd greet them with a handshake, but his eyes told the real story. Don't even bring it up. People were too afraid to ask, so they'd just take the loss. The most feared. What were they going to do? They couldn't beat him, and nobody wanted the guns to get involved. But the way he was moving created a lot of problems for himself. Johnny Hickman was a major player on the field, pulling in big numbers, about 90K a day. He had serious motion, but Smitty knocked him off, which put Hickman in a tight spot. The pressure was heavy, and he had to fall back and lay low until things calmed down. Hickman fled to LA, where he developed major ties, which turned out to be a good move for him. Out in LA, he made things happen and connected with the right people. He was well known, even tied to the CPS. Smitty left his mark everywhere he went. Whether you loved him or hated him, that's just something you couldn't take away from him. When he arrived at Harris County Jail, a lot of people couldn't wait to see him. He had allegedly robbed half the people in there. But Smitty was already prepared. He had a crew waiting for him, savages who were holding him down the moment he touched down. Some people say the people around him were what made him so feared. Smitty was also credited as one of the guys who created slab culture. His car game was incredible. Heads would turn when he came down the street. Plenty of people have stories of him rolling through in different rides, each one flashier than the last. Nothing attracts people like a fly ride. A fly ride attracts the ladies too. Smitty was the player having it his way, and when he brought pepper to the hood, his player status went to another level. Of course, you had dudes hating, saying things like, "Oh, I could have had that," or "I know someone that had that." You know how the game goes. But you can't hate the player, you have to hate the game. People used to warn Pepper, like, "Yo, I don't think you want to be dealing with that dude. He's got a lot going on. He gets into a lot of stuff. But you know, a female is going to do what she wants. In my opinion, if it's not your sister or your daughter, you should mind your business. And as far as the sister thing goes, you should warn her once. If she doesn't listen, you mind your business and stay completely out of it." The downfall. One day, Smitty and his right-hand man were riding around in an Oldsmobile when they were spotted by some ops connected to the hitman. It was on sight. The ops started firing at the vehicle from the driver's side. Sitting in the passenger seat, Smitty's right-hand man pulled out a .30 carbine and started firing shots out of the driver's window. For some reason, the car jerked, and Smitty ended up receiving 2 headshots from inside the vehicle. The car spun out of control, and that was it. Now, that's a horrible thing for his friend to have to live with. He did some jail time behind it, but I've heard he's home now. After Smitty's death, rumors started floating around, saying he faked it. And this was before all the Tupac conspiracy stuff. But you already know how people are, especially in this culture. For sure, though, Smitty was a legend. He was doing his thing, the good, the bad, the ugly, or whatever. He set his mark. This was just a small video on Smitty, an H-Town legend for sure. A lot of people could say he put them on a lot of money and did some great things for them. That's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in to the video. Get the likes up. Don't be a stranger. Hit the comments and don't forget to share this video.